making decisions that will ultimately better America and the globe. The reason why this show is successful is because I say the opposite is true. Sunstein wants to control you. He's helping the government control you. He fancies himself, his words, a choice architect. And so he's going to take out all of the bad choices and leave you with only the ones he sees as good ones. So in other words, you go in and order your McDonald's hamburger. Would you like carrots or broccoli with that? Well, I want French fries. No, I'm sorry. These are the choices. That way you can't ever choose poorly. You are a lab rat. You have been tricked into compliance with their global redistribution of wealth, leveling the playing field scheme. And every day that we play Republican and Democrat politics is another day we lose. Don't you see they are using us on that game? You have to see it through their eyes. Remember, this is what they see. Things are unsustainable. That's the problem. Everybody knows it's unsustainable, so that's the problem. How to solve it now? We say free market and small government. They say redistribution of wealth, not between the rich, not from Rupert Murdoch to you, but from you to Venezuela. Redistribution of wealth and global government run by elites. Once you understand this, this story is going to make sense. This is happening today. Hillary Clinton wants global standards for cook stoves. What? If you are looking at life, free market solutions, small government, and this is unsustainable, this makes no sense. You say, what is she doing? Cook stoves? But think of this story, not through your eyes, their eyes. Things are unsustainable. Global standards for cook stoves. The earth has a temperature. Redistribution of wealth and global framework. Reread the goals. Clinton says she wants to boost access to large-scale carbon financing. Redistribution of wealth because it's unsustainable. She also added, our long-term goal is to have a universal adoption all over the world. Global governance. It's not about saving the planet. It's about spreading the wealth and having the global structure in place for the elites to take control. America figured this out in time, barely, but in time, in about 1918. They figured it out when Woodrow Wilson started talking about the League of Nations, which was global government. Now, did the story make sense through your eyes? That story with Hillary Clinton, no. Does it make sense over here? Yes. Their clear ideology is a clear and present danger to America. If you think I'm exaggerating, let's take a look how the choice architects have changed your life, all because you're Homer Simpson and you haven't noticed. These are just the things that they have done in the last 18 months on food. Now, this is all going to be up on foxnews.com, Fox Nation, theblaze.com, and glennbeck.com. I want you to see all of these things because it's too much to even show you. But let me just start with food. Left to your own devices, you're going to eat too much. You're going to be a big fat fatty, and you'll eat the wrong food. You'll become unhealthy. Well, enter Cass Sunstein and the choice architects. Boston officials, remember who is in charge of Boston? Oh yeah, that's right, Barack Obama's best friend. They are now considering a ban on soda in vending machines and snack bars all across the city. The reason? Well, people are too fat. A third grader was given a harsh punishment of a week's detention. Why? Not for a fight, not for a gun, but for violating junk state laws on junk food limits. She wasn't trafficking in chocolate to other students. No, no, no. She had a Jolly Rancher. And when I say a Jolly Rancher, I don't mean a bag. I mean a Jolly Rancher. A week's detention. New York City had a bill introduced last March. In it, it read, no owner or operator of this restaurant in the state shall use salt in any form in the preparation of any food for consumption by customers. Restaurants would be fined $1,000. California, the first to ban trans fats to battle heart disease because it's best for you. The FDA, in an amazing thing, threatened to crack down on Cheerios. They threatened, here's the letter, threatened to regulate them. Cheerios. Why? Because they made unauthorized health claims. Notice they didn't say inaccurate, they said unauthorized. The FDA threatened to, quote, consider the cereal a drug, which could not be marketed without all being submitted first for approval. Cheerios. Now, here's some history about the FDA. Do you even know how it really started? Do you know the history behind it? Progressives brought it to us. And it has a lot to do with Coca-Cola. When Coca-Cola was the first soft drink made in 1886. And what does Coca stand for? Cocaine. Well, by 1904, before cocaine was illegal, Coke removed it from the drink. That's 1904, they took all the cocaine out. Well, in 1911, one of the first tests of the federal Pure Law and Food Drug, the Pure Drug and Food Law, was to, that was the first FDA, was to go after Coca-Cola. The government seized a shipment of Coca-Cola and charged that it was adulterated and misbranded. But it didn't have any Coca-Cola in it. It didn't have any Coke in it. Well, they said Coca, title referred to cocaine, which had to be removed. Well, they said it has been removed. We replaced it with caffeine. Well, they went to court on this. They lost. And so then they said, well, that's false advertising because it doesn't have cocaine in it. Well, you didn't want cocaine in it. Well, but it's false advertising. And when that didn't work, they went after the caffeine. They argued that caffeine was nature's poison and should also be removed. Eventually, the case made it all the way to the Supreme Court, which ruled in favor, and I don't know much how longer we can do this, saying it's the real thing. Now, do you notice all the solutions to these problems? It's never you. You just have to remove the bad choice in life. No, you can't have this. This isn't good for you. Notice how also none of these solutions help businesses in any way. The progressives expand this strategy to all areas of life. How? Oh, wait, I'll I'll show you this, and I'll show you all of this and more next. Okay, so we're telling you about all the regulations that have been put in place in just the last 18 months. The solution for violence, ban guns. Toy safety, regulate yard sales. Can't have yard sales anymore. Remember Operation Resale Roundup we told you about? Nobody else reported on it. We said it was a big deal. Your yard sale is being regulated. And now every private transaction over $600 annually, you have to fill out a form for the IRS. That one was tucked into the health care bill to raise $17 billion to help pay for the health care. If I sell something for $600, I have to now report it to the, excuse me? Private transactions? San Francisco now wants to ban pets because, well, you can't sell pets because too many people just don't know what they're getting into. Georgia cited, this is not Georgia, this is Georgia, cited a man, we told you yesterday, for growing vegetables on his own property and then giving them away. Starting next year, California begins imposing strict efficiency standards on big screen TVs. You're not going to be able to get a TV like this or even smaller in California because it's too big and uses too much energy. Jeans, baggy pants, banned. Georgetown. San Francisco, they also want to ban Happy Meals at McDonald's because, well, you're marketing to kids. They want the toy. And by the way, there's a recommendation out now by the Institute of Medicine that there should be no fast food zoning. Just like no gun zones, no fast food zones around school. They'll just keep pushing them out farther and farther out of the food deserts. The FTC has now begun to regulate bloggers. Why would you do that? It's not freedom of speech. No, we just want to regulate them a little bit. The Department of Labor has cracked down on unpaid internships, saying they are tantamount to exploitation. So now they just won't get any experience. In Michigan, a group of home-based daycare providers were allegedly forced by government union officials to pay union dues when they're not in the union. And here's another story. If you don't view through the lens of modern-day progressives, redistribution of wealth, global government run by elites, and things are unsustainable, and you're Homer Simpson, you will completely shrug them off. An Oregon senator has proposed a tax credit for breastfeeding because, they just want mothers to, keep their children in their healthy community. Healthy. Yeah, I'm sure they do. Nothing wrong with breastfeeding. Nothing at all. My wife and I both agree it is the best thing for the child. But we choose. Now, instead of just relying on the power of persuasion to get people to breastfeed, instead of using any kind of alternatives, special interest groups have resorted to embedding this in the tax code to nudge you. Not only that, there'll be a new regulation added, a performance standard for breast pumps, and mandatory for employers to now provide break time for breastfeeding. So they've made the breast pumps more expensive because now there has to be more testing on them and standards have to be higher. Now, I'm sure it's just a coincidence, but do you remember one of the stories that kind of stuck out to us about a year or so ago? It was tucked into the health care bill. There was an excise tax on medical devices such as wheelchairs and breast pumps. No one could figure that one out at the time. But now that you know it's about redistribution of wealth and global government, and you're Homer Simpson, and I'm going to challenge, I'm going to put you in a little maze like a rat and tell you exactly where to run. Now it makes sense, doesn't it? No, that was just there to help pay for the health care plan. All right. Is the United States and the United States Senate full of really overzealous pro-breastfeeding activists? No. No. Is the United States? No. So who's the driving force behind this one? Well, it is the Center for American Progress, a George Soros organization. Center for American Progress. They heavily promote breastfeeding as a healthier option. Why? Well, because, Homer Simpson over there, that's Homer. He's not going to correctly choose breastfeeding, and we're getting obese like Homer. And so that's why they're banning all the foods. Quote, Americans need to make healthier choices, and they believe breastfeeding can prevent obesity. The big issue here is not about breastfeeding. It's their solution. It's always the same. It's to nudge you, cast sunsteam, treat you like a lab rat, trick you into the perceived better choice. So the breastfeeding bill comes directly from the Center for American Progress. Higher prices on breastfeeding pump machines, breast pumps. You may not have the money, so you'll just make the other choice. It's all to fight obesity. Well, who else is fighting obesity besides the Center for American Progress and Cass Sunstein? Yeah, Michelle Obama. It's really weird because she is right in line with this report. This report says obesity can be prevented